So I killed a mosquito on my arm, and I got to thinking, Legolas, 2 already. I'm at 19. I don't know. It's been clear today. Here, check this out. Yeah, look at that actual view. Hiking up Mount Washington. Well, not Mount Washington, up the trail. Webster Cliffs. Look! The Cliffs of Insanity! Easy.
Sometimes you hear birds like baby shark.
So did you think you see Mount Washington? The one with the little antennae on it?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, Linear Hill. Maybe.
I bet that's it.
Could be. Alright, so I just wanted to show kind of what you would see climbing up the mountains in the whites, and just not necessarily just the prezzies, just like the whites in general. You'll occasionally see sites like this. Now, while they're not legal, right, because you're supposed to be with 200 feet away from the trail, a quarter mile away from like structures, and you can't camp anywhere that the tree line is it's like the Alpines where the trees are less than 8 feet tall. But yes, so like if you do get stuck, you have options. Pierce, Mizpah Hut, something. Eisenhower, right.
Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe.
Washington.
Marilyn Washington. She deserves her own mountain. These guys right here, are like the nemesis in New Hampshire. They're everywhere, and you just like grab a tree and then just squish. Grab a rock, squish. It's so gross. I've got some hikers being led by some sort of tour guide down to Webster Trails over there. We're at the top of Jackson, but they were like, "Oh, do we go over here behind me?" And they're like, "No, that's the Webster Cliffs Trail." Apparently, they have to sign a waiver if they want to go that way, so they just went down Webster Trail over there. Normally, I would never dream of taking my phone out in a situation like this. But this is for you. For the viewers.
Never seen anything like it. It's like Dr. Seuss.
Alright, so we were stopping at the Mizpah Hut, and while they didn't have any leftover breakfast, they did mark off our little... So you get like a receipt, little tag when you're an AT3 hiker the first time you stay at a hut. That's good for 2 weeks, and you get like 3 different, like a soup or a baked good or whatever, and so we got a baked good. Voila, baked good. They're like vegan chocolate something, which I imagine vegan is a lot easier to pack out to a hut. Okay, we are at the top of Pierce. So many. Why are there so many white men? This white mountain is dangerous. Anyway, the white mountain is dangerous. It's a Pocahontas reference. Alright, so anyway. Quality film, I guess. Debatable. Where was I? Oh, right, top of Mount Pierce. Apparently one of the last peaks we have to do until Washington, so that's good. So I'm gonna flip it around. You know, there we got allegedly Eisenhower. And then you can see like our path. And that should be Washington. Oh yeah, there's towers. It's clearing. The smoke is clearing. Let's...
Clouds.
Or not smoke. Yeah, clouds. Canada. I don't know, is that still on fire?
Yeah, Canada's still on
fire. Alright, see, there's the top of Mount Washington. Let's zoom back out here. Boop, 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 boop. So that's where we're going today. Easy peasy. So one of the things I feel like weird about sometimes with sack packing is it makes me feel like instead of like hiking the AT, I'm just like walking to walk, you know? Like, I realize I'm making forward progress. I don't feel like it, because I'm like, it's not hard, so I'm not like
so you feel like,
doing it.
So you feel like you're like not actually hiking the AT, you're just day hiking?
Yeah.
You feel like you've put on a day hiker persona? That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Like,
So it almost makes you feel like it makes me actually feel like, so you know, you have those, well, we just recently had this, it's like, why am I even out here? Well, like sci-fi kind of feels like the same. It's like, why am I even out here if I'm not carrying my pack?
Oh,
I don't know.
this is great.
I don't know.
It feels nice not to carry
no, it feels nice not to carry
40 pounds.
Alright, top of Franklin, which is not a peak, marked as a 4K peak on far out. Right there. That little dark shadowy thing, that's Washington. So Franklin probably not marked as a 4K peak because sometimes they don't mark them if the mountain's not pointy. The mountain's not pointy enough. They're like, well, it's not really prominent, you know, so they don't bother, which I think, and Wayfinder agrees, that's a bit pointiest of them. All right, so we're at Lake of the Clouds, and we just had their soup. It was like potato dill soup, so it basically tasted like dinner, but runnier. And I had to drink it. He gave me a spoon, but I can't consume my calories that slowly. Also at Lake of the Clouds, in case you were wondering, this is what the dungeon looks like. Looks like 6 bunks, but obviously you can get a few more on the ground. An emergency. They look a little damp, actually. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, those are definitely wet. So. Oh my God. I was like, it can't be that bad. It's kind of that bad. All right, we're gonna go up there.
Just breathe.
All right, so here's the end of tomorrow's path because we're gonna start back down in Pinkman Notch and work our way back up. All right, it is 5:30 a.m. We are climbing up Mount Washington again. I am equipped with sun shirt and hat this time because wow, I got real pink yesterday. So definitely dress appropriately going up there. You will burn if it's a nice day, which yay, it's a nice day. There might be rain again this afternoon. There might not. We will see. Maybe we'll get lucky again. We left yesterday at about 5:30 and got to the top of Mount Washington at about 3:30. So about a 10-hour hike for us.
We're 4.8 actually miles into our hike thus far. And the terrain has been really easy so far, which means that the rest of the hike is probably going to be hard.
We did also pass some hikers that did the entire presidential traverse with their packs on. So if you're, you know, a superstar, I guess it's doable. But if you're not a superstar like us, maybe be a little careful. All right, so right now we're still hiking up Madison, and we're doing this weird thing where we're like passing a whole bunch of no-bowers that passed us within the last like few days. So I keep going, wait a minute, you look familiar. Just like, yeah. You know those like old video games where you're like going down and it's like the same terrain going like by you every so often, and you're just like, I've seen that building before. That's like how I feel hiking Madison is. The theme of today's hike: constant vigilance. Potter. All right, so we're at Madison Hut. Madison climb was rough. We're waiting on fresh baked goods, so that's exciting. It's our last baked goods on our pass. We've averaged about a mile an hour probably at this point. Well, I don't know.
We'd have to look.
We'd have to look, but the over Madison itself was definitely maybe even a little slower than mile an hour. Fun fact: the Madison hut is apparently sexy Canadian hut because they're all just running around shirtless and flexing. Okay, so quick hack for the oats. If you want to lighten the load of the people that work at the huts, ask them to put a little hot water in the oats that have been sitting out all day. All right, so we have finished our presidential hike. We're gonna zero tomorrow before we do the Wildcats. We ended up camping at the bottom of Webster Cliffs, where we stashed our stuff in the stealth spots, so that way when Wayfinder's parents came by, they were able to grab them. So all total is like 13,000 miles up, or not 13,000 feet up in 2 days. My preferred method for hiking the whites or the presidentials is as follows, though. Most of you aren't going to like this. Stealth camp at the base of the cliffs, hike up Webster Cliffs, get to the shuttle, take it down to Pinkham Notch before 5 p.m., walk the 0.3 over to the gondola, and then just take the gondola up the Wildcats, because the other side of the presidential sucks so bad, and I don't want to walk up the Wildcats.